The Battle of Thermopylae is one of the most legendary events in military history. A confrontation that pitted a small army of Spartan warriors and Greek allies against the vast forces of the Persian Empire. A battle of courage, strategy, and sacrifice, but the real story goes far beyond the myth of 300 soldiers. Prologue. The Persian Empire marches on Greece. The year was 480 BC. Persian King Xerxes I, successor of Darius I, led a colossal military campaign to subjugate Greece. His empire already dominated vast territories, including Asia Minor, Egypt, and Mesopotamia. Now he sought revenge for his father's humiliating defeat at the Battle of Marathon 490 BC. Xerxes assembled a massive army. Ancient historians like Herodotus mentioned absurd numbers of up to 2.5 million soldiers, but modern estimates suggest a force between 100,000 and 300,000 warriors, including cavalry, archers, and the feared Persian elite troops, the Immortal. Greece, fragmented into multiple city-states polis, needed a response. Faced with the threat, an alliance was formed, led by Sparta and Athens. Their plan: stop the Persians at Thermopylae, a narrow pass that served as the perfect choke point to block the enemy's advance. Leonidas and his warriors, not just 300 Spartan. King Leonidas I was chosen to lead the defense of the pass. But contrary to popular myth, he was not alone with only 300 soldiers. Sparta sent its 300 best warriors, yes, but they were accompanied by a much larger contingent of Greeks. Estimates suggest around 7,000 to 8,000 soldiers from different city-states fought alongside the Spartans, including 700 Thespians, who fought to the death, refusing to retreat. 400 Thebans, who were forced to stay and later surrendered. 1,000 Phocians, positioned on a trail above the path. Warriors from other cities like Corinth, Locris, and Arcadia. Still, the numerical difference was overwhelming. But the Greeks had one advantage: geography. The first day of battle, the clash of armies when the Persians arrived at Thermopylae, Xerxes expected the Greeks to surrender upon seeing his enormous army. But Leonidas and his men did not retreat. Xerxes sent a message ordering the Greeks to lay down their weapons. Leonidas' response became legendary: Molon Labe, come and take them. Enraged, Xerxes ordered a direct attack. But the Greeks were in an extremely advantageous position. The pass was narrow, preventing the Persians from using their superior numbers effectively. The Greek hoplites, with their long spears and heavy bronze armor, formed an impenetrable phalanx. Wave after wave of Persian soldiers was repelled with ease. When Xerxes sent his elite troops, the Immortals, the result was the same. The Spartans, masters of warfare, used cunning tactics pretending to retreat, only to encircle and slaughter the enemy. The first day ended with heavy Persian losses. The second day, the betrayal that changed everything. Xerxes, frustrated, realized that a frontal assault wouldn't work. But then a Greek named Ephialtes betrayed his countrymen. Ephialtes revealed to Xerxes the existence of a secret mountain path that bypassed the pass. With this knowledge, the Persian king sent his troops to encircle the Greeks. Leonidas realized the betrayal. He knew the end was near. On the morning of the third day, he ordered most of the Greek forces to retreat. But he and his 300 Spartans chose to fight to the death, accompanied by the 700 Thespians and 400 Thebans. The final stand, Leonidas' sacrifice, now surrounded. The Greek warriors faced certain death. They fought with everything they had, even after their spears broke. They used swords, and when those shattered, they fought with their bare hands. Leonidas fell in battle, his body fiercely contested by both the enemy and his own men. The last Spartans retreated to a small hill, where they were ultimately slaughtered by Persian arrows. It was the end of the resistance, but not the end of the war. The impact of the battle in Greece's revenge the resistance at Thermopylae was not in vain. Though defeated, the Spartans and their allies had bought Greece valuable time to prepare. The battle inspired the Greeks to unite. Months later, at the Battle of Salamis 480 BC, the Athenian navy crushed the Persian fleet, forcing Xerxes to retreat. The following year, the Greeks decisively defeated the Persians at Plataea 479 BC, ending the invasion. Leonidas and his warriors became symbols of bravery and sacrifice. Centuries later, when Alexander the Great invaded Persia, he made a point of visiting Leonidas' tomb as a sign of respect. Myth versus reality. What Hollywood didn't tell you: the battle became world famous thanks to the movie 300 2006, directed by Zack Snyder. While stylized and full of artistic liberties, the film captured the spirit of the fight but exaggerated several aspects. It wasn't just 300 Spartans, thousands of Greeks fought alongside them. The immortals were not monstrous mutants, they were an elite, highly trained force. Leonidas didn't scream all the time, he was a disciplined and strategic king. Still, the film helped popularize this incredible story, reminding the world of the courage of those who stood against an unimaginable army to defend their freedom. Conclusion: the legacy of Thermopylae more than 2,500 years later. The Battle of Thermopylae remains one of the most inspiring moments in military history. It was an example of resistance against tyranny, of honor, and of sacrifice for an ideal. And above all, it proves that true heroism is not measured by the number of warriors, but by the spirit of those who choose to fight, even when victory seems impossible. And so, the 300 and their thousands of allies censured that their names would never be forgotten. Our blood may have been spilled at Thermopylae, but our story will never die. Final thoughts. The legacy of the 300 and the power of persistence. The Battle of Thermopylae was not just a military confrontation. It was a testament to the power of determination, sacrifice, and unwavering persistence. The story of Leonidas and his warriors continues to inspire generations, not just because they fought a larger force, but because they refused to surrender even when facing certain death. The real meaning of the Spartan stand at first glance. The battle might seem like a futile effort. After all, the Greeks were defeated, and the Persians advanced further into Greece. But when we look deeper, we see that their sacrifice was not in vain. The few days that the Spartans and their allies bought allowed the Greek city-states to strategize, unite, and ultimately defeat the Persians in later battles. If the Greeks had surrendered without a fight, Persia might have conquered all of Greece. This battle was a message to the world: even in the face of overwhelming odds, we do not submit. We fight, and we inspire others to do the same. The importance of persistence in war and life. The Spartans' persistence at Thermopylae is not just a lesson in military strategy, it is a lesson for life itself. Discipline and preparation. The Spartans trained their entire lives for war. Their discipline allowed them to resist for far longer than anyone thought possible. In our own lives, preparation and hard work are what allow us to face challenges head-on. Mental and physical endurance. The Spartans never gave up, even when their weapons broke, even when they were exhausted. They continued to fight with their bare hands. This is a reminder that no matter how difficult things get, persistence is what separates success from failure. Standing by your values. Leonidas knew he would die, but he chose to stay because he believed in the cause. In life, there are moments where standing firm in our principles is more important than anything else. Why we still remember Thermopylae today, more than 2,500 years later. Thermopylae remains one of the most studied battles in history. It is taught in military academies, history classes, and leadership seminars around the world. But why? Because it is not just about tactics and numbers, it is about the spirit of human resilience. It is about fighting for something greater than yourself. It is about never surrendering to fear. It is about the belief that even a small force can change history. This is why the Spartans' last stand continues to be remembered. Their actions prove that persistence, even in the face of death, can inspire future generations to fight for their own freedom, their own rights, and their own belief. The eternal echo of their courage, Leonidas and his men fell, but their story lived on. Their defiance echoed through history, influencing warriors, leaders, and ordinary people facing extraordinary circumstances. Their example teaches us that true strength is not in numbers, but in willpower. Victory is not always immediate, but persistence ensures that defeat is never final. Even the smallest stand against oppression can shape the future. The Battle of Thermopylae teaches us that sometimes standing firm in the darkest moments is what ultimately brings the light of victory. Their message, their spirit, and their sacrifice will never be forgotten.